Today we're going to start Chapter 9, and we're going to start with Section 9.1. All of Chapter 9 we're going to be talking about solving equations. So before we get into the actual equation solving process, we're going to review a little bit of vocab that we've seen in previous chapters that we're going to need as we move through this chapter. So just a reminder up at the top here, a symbol used to represent a number is called a variable. We generally use letters for variables. An algebraic expression is a collection of numbers, variables, and operation symbols. In the last chapter, we talked a lot about looking at and either evaluating or simplifying expressions. In this chapter, we're going to focus on equations. So an equation is a combination of expressions that are equal to one another. So the big difference between an expression and an equation is whether or not we have an equal sign that we can actually see. And then what we're looking for when we're dealing with equations is we're looking for solutions. A solution makes a given equation a true statement. All right, so in example 1 here, we're going to label each as either an expression or an equation. All right, so looking at A, right, here we see a combination of numbers, variables, and operation symbols. We do not see an equal sign, so that is just an expression. In example B, we do see an equal sign, so that is going to be an equation. Okay. So equations have equal signs, expressions do not. Expressions, again, get simplified and evaluated. Equations, we're going to be looking for solutions. We're going to be solving our equations in this chapter. All right, so in example 2, we're looking more closely at this idea of a solution. So is the given number a solution to an equation? So what we want to do in order to check this is we want to take that number and we want to replace it in our equation in place of the variable. So in a way it's similar to evaluating expressions, but what we're doing here is we may have variables on one side of an equation, we may have variables on two sides of an equation. What we want to do is we make sure that we plug in our value for all of those variables, and then we want to see if what we're left with is a true statement. All right, so for example A, we're going to plug this -4 in for x. So we have 2 times -4 plus 1, right? And right now we're not sure if that's going to equal -7. Right, so using our sign rules from the last chapter, 2 times -4 is going to be -8. -8 plus 1, right? Different signs, so we subtract. Our larger number is negative, so we keep the negative. So we have a -7 on both sides of our equation. Right? This is true. So in this case, is x equals -4 a solution to our equation? Yes, it is. Right, now for B, we're going to do the same thing. Notice that we have two variables, one on each side. So we're going to plug our 3 in for both of those variables. So I'm going to write 2 times 3 minus 5. All right, and we're not sure if this is equal to 8 minus 3 times 3. All right, on the left side, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. On the other side, right, 3 times 3 is 9. 8 minus 9 is -1. Right, and if we compare the left and the right, we do not have the same number on both sides. So in this case, we would say no, x equals 3 is not a solution to this equation.